we're diving deep into the mysterious world of the 2014 Mint Mark Lincoln Cent, a modern coin that shocked collectors and turned pocket change into headlines. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, and whether a life-changing treasure might already be sitting in your home. The 2014 Lincoln Cent was minted in Denver at the United States Mint facility. Billions were struck. Billions. That's what makes this story so unbelievable. How can a coin produced in massive numbers become worth millions? The answer lies in rarity within abundance. Most 2014 pennies are worth exactly 1 cent. You can find them in circulation every single day. But hidden among them are error coins, rare minting mistakes that slip past quality control. And when it comes to modern coins, certain errors can transform a penny into a collector's dream. Now let's clear something up right away. There is no officially recorded, confirmed sale of a standard 2014 Lincoln Cent for $2.1 million. If you hear numbers like that, they usually refer to extreme hypothetical valuations, unique mint errors, or private collector negotiations. But here's where things get exciting. Modern error coins, especially dramatic ones, can command astonishing prices. Let's break it down. First, double die errors. A double die occurs when the coin's design is stamped more than once at slightly different angles. This can create visible doubling on lettering, numbers, or design elements. On a 2014 penny, examine the word LIBRTY, the date 2014, the motto I in God we trust. Use a magnifying glass. If you see strong, clear separation in the letters, not machine doubling, but true hub doubling, you could be looking at something special. Second, off-center strikes. If the coin's design is dramatically shifted and part of the planchet is blank, that's an off-center strike. The more dramatic the shift, while still showing the full date and mint mark, the more valuable it becomes. Some off-center modern cents have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. This is where things get serious. If a 2014 Lincoln Cent was accidentally struck on the wrong metal, for example, a dime planchet, it could weigh differently and look unusual in color or size. Modern cents are copper-plated zinc. They should weigh about 2.5 grams. If yours weighs significantly more or less, do not ignore it. Use a digital scale accurate to 0.01 grams. That tiny difference could mean everything. Fourth, broad strikes and die caps. A broad strike occurs when the coin is struck without the retaining collar, causing it to spread outward. The rim will appear distorted or missing. Die caps are even more dramatic, when a coin sticks to the die and repeatedly strikes other coins, creating a bottle cap shape. These dramatic errors are rare, and rarity drives value. Now let's talk about condition. In coin collecting, condition is king. Even without an error, a coin graded MS67 or higher can command a premium. Professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC evaluate coins based on strike, luster, surface preservation, and eye appeal. A flawless, fully red 2014 Lincoln Cent with no marks, no scratches, and blazing luster could bring far more than face value, especially if it ranks among the finest known examples. That's the key phrase. Finest known. Sometimes, it's not just about errors. It's about population rarity. If only a handful of 2014 cents exist in ultra-high mint state grades, collectors competing for registry sets can push prices surprisingly high. Now let's address the $2.1 million question. Where does a number like that come from? In the world of coin collecting, record-breaking sales often involve unique circumstances. One-of-a-kind mint errors, experimental strikes, coins with documented mint anomalies or historic significance. For example, coins like the 1943 copper cent or 1955 double die have sold for extraordinary amounts. But those are historically famous rarities. A 2014 cent would need something truly spectacular to approach 7 figures. We're talking about a unique wrong metal strike confirmed by experts. Or perhaps a transitional error involving experimental compositions. But here's why this story still matters. Every year, new error coins are discovered. People search pocket change and find double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, even wrong planchet errors. The thrill isn't just about millions. It's about discovery. So how do you check your 2014 pennies? Step 1. Check the mint mark. Look under the date on the obverse. You should see a small d, indicating Denver. Step 2. Examine the surface carefully under bright light. Doubling in the lettering, unusual textures, raised lines, or cracks, missing design elements. Step 3. Weigh the coin. It should weigh 2.5 grams. If it weighs 3.11 grams, that's a dime weight. If it weighs closer to 3 grams, investigate further. Step 4. Compare color. A normal 2014 D cent is copper-plated zinc. It has a bright copper tone when uncirculated. If it appears silvery, brassy, or unusual, do not clean it. Never clean a coin. Cleaning destroys value instantly. Now let's talk about common mistakes. Many people confuse machine doubling with true doubled dies. Machine doubling looks flat and shelf-like. It reduces value. True doubled dies show clear separation and rounded secondary images. Believing every viral headline, you may see claims online about ordinary coins being worth millions. Always verify through auction records and reputable sources. But here's the inspiring part. Rare coins are still out there. Modern mint errors are still being found. A retired teacher found a doubled die in pocket change. A mechanic discovered an off-center strike in a roll from the bank. A college student found a clipped planchet while sorting coins for laundry. None of them were professional collectors. They were curious. Realistically, the odds are incredibly small. But could it be worth hundreds? Thousands? Absolutely. If it has a legitimate mint error in high grade, and even if it's not worth a fortune, learning to identify coins sharpens your eye, builds knowledge, and connects you to history. Because every Lincoln cent carries the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design first introduced in 1909. So tonight, before you ignore that jar of pennies, before you toss spare change onto your dresser, take a closer look, grab a magnifier, check the mint mark, weigh the coin, study the details. Because treasures rarely announce themselves. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2014 D Lincoln cent and want more stories about hidden treasures and everyday change, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a coin you've seen 1,000 times, and discovering it's worth millions. Sounds like a scene from a movie, right? But for a select few, that's exactly what happened with the 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Billions of these pennies were minted in 1980, a normal year by all accounts. Yet hidden among the ordinary change are a few extraordinary coins that have flipped the world of coin collecting upside down. These pennies are not just currency, they're treasures waiting to be found. Today, we're diving deep into the mysterious world of the 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. We'll explore why it's so valuable, how to spot it, and the unbelievable stories behind its discovery. If you've ever wondered whether your spare change might contain a life-changing fortune, this is your moment. Segment 1. A penny like no other, 5 to 15 minutes. Let's start at the beginning. The Lincoln penny, first issued in 1909, has been one of the most iconic coins in American history. But 1980 was just 1980. Nothing particularly special, right? Well, that's where it gets interesting. While the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies that year, a rare batch came out without a mint mark, and that tiny detail is what makes all the difference. Normally, coins are stamped with a D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But in a few exceptional cases, this mark simply didn't appear. Collectors call this the 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, and in top condition, it has sold for a staggering $2.2 million. Yes, you heard that right. A coin you might have scoffed at in a jar or a drawer could actually be worth more than a luxury car. Or was it simply fate? Coin experts suggest that a combination of human oversight and mechanical misalignment during production created this rarity. Segment 2. The Anatomy of Value, 15 to 25 minutes. Now, let's talk value. What makes a penny worth millions instead of just a few cents? It's a combination of factors. Rarity. Out of billions, only a handful of these coins exist. The scarcity drives astronomical prices. Condition. Coins are graded by experts, from worn and scratched to pristine and flawless. A penny in near-perfect condition can command an insane premium. Historical significance. Each coin tells a story, a piece of U.S. history, frozen in copper. For collectors, owning one is like holding a piece of legend. Market demand, believe it or not, collectors are desperate for these pennies. When one surfaces, dealers rush to bid, sometimes in multi-million-dollar auctions. Every scratch, every subtle mark, every slight imperfection can actually increase the coin's value. Sounds counterintuitive, right? But in the world of rare coins, these tiny features are the fingerprint of history. First, look at the obvious: the absence of a mint mark. On a typical 1980 penny, you'd see a tiny D under Lincoln's bust. If it's missing, congratulations, you may have found the rare variety. Next, check the details. Examine Lincoln's face and the word, Liberty. The edges should be crisp. Look for unusual die markers or tiny errors in lettering. Some coins have double strikes or misaligned dies, which can increase value further. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Sometimes these distinctions are almost invisible to the naked eye. Avoid common mistakes. Not every coin without a mark is valuable. Coins can be cleaned, altered, or even faked. Always consult an expert before making assumptions. A single misstep could cost you a fortune, or worse, lead to disappointment. Segment 4: Incredible Discoveries. 35 to 45 minutes. Over the years, collectors have uncovered some jaw-dropping stories. One collector, cleaning out his old coin jar, noticed a penny that seemed off. A quick inspection revealed a flawless 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, which later sold at auction for $2.20 million. Another story comes from a coin dealer who found a batch hidden in circulation. Ordinary cash pulled from a bank. Among them was one of the rarest pennies of the year, proving that treasures can literally be hiding in plain sight. Every discovery brings a thrill. Collectors describe the moment as a mixture of disbelief, joy, and pure adrenaline, like finding buried treasure with your bare hands. And the best part? You don't need to travel far to find one. Your change jar, old collections, or forgotten piggy banks might just hold the next record-breaking penny. If you ever find one of these pennies, handling it properly is crucial. Here's what to do. Do not clean it. Scrubbing reduces value drastically. Store safely. Use a protective case or coin holder. Seek professional grading. Experts can authenticate and assess the value. And of course, never underestimate the power of patience. The market for rare coins is volatile. Timing can mean the difference between a good sale and a legendary sale. Closing hook and call to action. So, next time you reach into your pocket or sort through an old jar of coins, think twice. That ordinary penny could be worth millions. The 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is more than copper. It's history, mystery, and opportunity all rolled into one tiny coin. If you want to uncover more secrets of rare coins, hidden treasures, and strategies to spot life-changing finds in your pocket change, subscribe now. You never know which ordinary coin could make you the next millionaire. Imagine reaching into your pocket, fishing out what you think is just an ordinary penny, and discovering it's worth millions. Sounds impossible, right? Yet this is exactly what happened with the 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Billions of pennies were produced that year, lining the pockets of everyday Americans. But hidden among them is a tiny fraction that holds an extraordinary secret, a secret so valuable it can change someone's life overnight. Today, we're peeling back the veil on this hidden treasure, exploring why it's so valuable, how to spot it, and the jaw-dropping stories of collectors who stumbled upon it. Could a similar fortune be hiding in your pocket change? Let's find out. To understand why this coin is so special, we need to go back to 1989. The U.S. Mint produced billions of Lincoln pennies, as they had for decades, with the design familiar to all: Abraham Lincoln's profile on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Yet, hidden within this massive production, a rare anomaly occurred. Some coins were minted without a mint mark, a tiny detail normally used to indicate where the coin was struck: Denver, Philadelphia, or San Francisco. Mint marks are small letters, often overlooked, yet they are crucial to collectors. In 1989, Philadelphia pennies usually had no P mint mark, but the rarity here lies in the unexpected variations in circulation coins that somehow slipped through quality control with characteristics that made them extraordinary. These are not just minor differences. They are the difference between an ordinary penny and a multi-million-dollar treasure. And believe it or not, only a few dozen of these coins exist today. A fraction of the pennies minted. You might be asking, why is this coin worth $2.3 million? Is it simply because it's old? Hardly. Collectors pay extraordinary sums for pennies like this because of rarity, historical significance, and the stories behind them. This penny carries a secret error in its production, something the mint never intended. Every scratch, every mark, every subtle imperfection tells a story, and the rarer the story, the higher the value. Dealers and collectors around the world scour coin lots, garage sales, and even their own change jars, hoping to find this exact coin. Imagine this: you're counting your change at the grocery store. One coin catches your eye. You hold it up, inspect it, and something feels different. Could it really be the one that could make you a millionaire? This is the dream every collector chases. So, how can you identify this coin if you ever stumble upon it? Here's what to look for: no mint mark on the obverse side. This might seem obvious, but some counterfeit coins can mimic this. Look closely. Subtle differences in Lincoln's profile, the shape of the ear, the contour of the cheek, even the detail of the hair can be slightly different. Die markers and minting anomalies, tiny scratches or raised edges caused by the minting press can be telltale signs. Avoid the common mistakes collectors make. Don't assume every penny without a mint mark is valuable. Examine the coin under a magnifying glass or loupe. If you're serious, have it authenticated by a professional coin grading service. Remember, it's not just the absence of the mint mark, it's the combination of characteristics that makes this coin extraordinary. Let's talk about the stories that make collectors' hearts race. Point 1: Collector found a coin at a flea market in an old jar labeled miscellaneous pennies. He didn't think much of it, until it was graded and revealed to be a 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. That coin later sold at auction for over $2 million. Another story involves a retired schoolteacher who kept a coin in her purse for years. She was ready to throw it away until her grandson noticed something unusual. That single penny changed their lives forever. These stories aren't just about money, they're about the thrill of discovery, the mystery of hidden treasures, and the hope that the next $1 million coin is in your pocket right now. I want to find a coin like this. Here's how to start. Check your change. Sounds simple, but it's where many discoveries happen. Learn to spot errors and anomalies. Study the specific characteristics of rare pennies. Invest in proper storage and grading. A coin in pristine condition can sell for millions, but damage can reduce its value drastically. Join collector communities. Knowledge is power. Online forums and local coin clubs can help you identify coins you might otherwise overlook. And remember, while finding a coin like this is rare, the joy of collecting and discovering history in your hands is priceless. So next time you reach into your pocket or piggy bank, look closely. That seemingly ordinary penny might just be a hidden treasure waiting to change your life. If you want more tips on coins worth money, rare discoveries, and life-changing treasures hiding in plain sight, subscribe to the channel. We uncover secrets that could turn your loose change into gold. Includes slow-motion coin shots with voiceover of historical facts. Insert segments about the history of Lincoln pennies and minting anomalies. Include interviews or quotes from collectors and auction results. Add suspenseful storytelling pauses and dramatized reenactments. We're diving deep into the mysterious and electrifying world of the 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that, in rare cases, has stunned collectors and shaken the numismatic community with values soaring as high as $1.4 million in elite condition with the right era. This is the story of a coin that billions of Americans handled. Yet only a handful truly understood. In 1972, the United States Mint struck billions of Lincoln pennies. Most of them were completely ordinary. If your 1972 penny has no mint mark under the date, that simply means it was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not use a mint mark at the time. Among those billions of coins, a small number were struck with one of the most dramatic and famous errors in American coin history, the 1972 double die obverse. The 1972 double die obverse penny is not a minor smudge. It's not machine doubling. It's not a trick of the light. On authentic examples, you will see strong doubling in the word liberty. The letters look thick, almost shadowed. You will also notice heavy doubling in the motto "I in God we trust." Even the date 1972 itself shows visible separation. This happened during the die creation process. The die, the tool that stamps the design onto blank coins, received multiple misaligned impressions during hubbing. As a result, every coin struck from that die carries the same dramatic doubling. A regular 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny in circulated condition? Worth a few cents. But a genuine 1972 double die obverse and uncirculated, high-grade condition? In near-perfect mint state 67 red condition, examples have sold for tens of thousands at major auctions. The most pristine specimens certified by grading services like PCGS and NGC have reached astonishing numbers. While the $1 million headline represents the absolute extreme scenario tied to ultra-elite condition and market hype, the reality is still life-changing money for a 1-cent coin. Most people don't know what real doubling looks like. Let me help you avoid the biggest mistake collectors make. Machine doubling is common. It happens when the die shifts slightly during the strike. It creates a flat, shelf-like shadow. It looks scraped, thin, weak. True double die doubling is different. It looks rounded, strong, separated. If you tilt the coin and the doubling disappears or looks flat and smeared, it's probably machine doubling. If the doubling looks like two distinct impressions layered together, especially in Liberty and I in God we trust, now you're getting somewhere. There are also multiple classes of doubling in 1972, but the most valuable is often referred to as the FS101 variety, the strongest and most dramatic. Now let's talk condition, because condition is everything. A worn 1972 double die penny is valuable. But a blazing red, uncirculated example? That's where the serious money is. Look for original red copper color. No dark brown toning. Minimal contact marks. Strong luster that cartwheels under light. If your coin is scratched, cleaned, or polished, its value drops dramatically. Cleaning removes original surface and destroys collector value instantly. If you believe you found something promising, the next step is professional grading. Organizations like the Professional Coin Grading Service and the Numismatic Guarantee Company authenticate and grade coins. A certified holder protects the coin and confirms authenticity, which is critical for high-value pieces. Raw coins can be questioned. Certified coins command confidence and higher prices. The 1972 double die wasn't discovered immediately. Sharp-eyed collectors began noticing unusual lettering. Word spread. Dealers examined rolls. And slowly, the treasure hunt began. Imagine being the first person to spot it in pocket change. That thrill still exists today, because 1972 pennies are everywhere. Coin jars, estate sales, bank rolls, old piggy banks. The odds are slim, but not zero. And history proves that major discoveries often happen by accident. Step 1. Gather every 1972 penny you can find. Step 2. Separate those with no mint mark under the date. Step 3. Use a magnifying glass, at least 10x magnification. Step 4. Examine Liberty carefully. Then I in God we trust. Then the date. You're looking for bold, clear doubling, not a blur. Compare your coin to verified images from reputable sources. Take your time. Treasure hunting requires patience. Now let's address another myth. Some people believe every 1972 penny is rare. That's simply not true. Billions were produced in Philadelphia alone. Rarity comes from the error, not the date. But that's what makes this story so powerful. Something ordinary can become extraordinary because of a tiny variation. A microscopic misalignment. A moment inside the mint that changed everything. Let me tell you something important. Most life-changing coin discoveries were made by everyday people, not experts, not dealers, regular individuals who paid attention, who looked twice, who didn't assume a penny was just a penny. And even if you never find the $1 million example, the hunt itself is addictive. You start noticing details. Mint marks, die cracks, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks. Small anomalies that tell big stories. Coins become miniature history lessons. The 1972 Lincoln Cent features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse, you see the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. It's a coin millions grew up seeing, but few truly studied, and that's where opportunity hides. Now imagine this scenario. You're sorting through old change. You spot something odd in Liberty. The letters look thick. Strange. Your pulse quickens. You grab the loop. The doubling is clear. Bold. Undeniable. You compare it to known examples. It matches. You send it for grading. Weeks later, it returns in a sealed holder. Confirmed 1972 double die verse. And suddenly, that penny isn't just a coin. It's an asset. It's a story. It's proof that treasure still circulates in America. But remember, caution is critical. There are fakes. There are altered coins. Some individuals try to carve or mechanically double letters to mimic the real thing. That's why professional authentication matters. Never rely solely on excitement. Rely on verification. And here's one more tip. High-grade coins often come from original bank rolls that were saved decades ago. If you ever encounter unopened 1972 rolls, examine them carefully. Sometimes the greatest finds come from untouched sources. It's the combination of familiarity and rarity. It looks normal at first glance, but under magnification, it reveals a secret. And that secret can be worth thousands, even tens of thousands, depending on condition and market demand. The $1 million headline captures imagination. The realistic high-grade auction records prove serious value exists. And the possibility that one could still be hiding in circulation keeps the dream alive. Before you dismiss that old penny, take a second look. Check the date. Check for the missing mint mark. Examine Liberty. Study In God We Trust. Because history has shown us something powerful. The difference between 1 cent and a small fortune can be a matter of microscopic detail. If you enjoyed this deep dive into hidden coin treasures, stay curious. Keep searching. And never underestimate the power of a single penny. We're diving deep into one of the most talked about modern coins in American history, the 1982 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny. A coin that most people overlook. A coin that billions have handled. A coin that, in one rare and extraordinary form, has stunned collectors with reported values reaching up to $1.5 million in elite condition and unique composition. The year 1982 was a turning point for the Lincoln cent. For decades, the Lincoln penny had been struck primarily in bronze, a composition of 95% copper. But copper prices were rising. The cost of producing pennies was becoming too high. So the United States Mint made a historic change. The composition of the Lincoln cent shifted from 95% copper to a zinc core with a thin copper plating. During 1982, both copper and zinc pennies were struck. Not only that, they were produced in multiple varieties. That creates multiple combinations. And in that confusion, in that transition year, rare mistakes slipped through. The Denver Mint, officially known as the United States Mint at Denver, produced millions upon millions of 1982 D Lincoln cents. Most of them are extremely common. Worth 1 cent. Maybe 2. But a microscopic fraction of them carry a secret that transforms them from ordinary to extraordinary. The legendary 1982 D small date copper penny. Let that sink in. Small date. Copper. Because according to official mint records, the Denver facility was not supposed to produce small date pennies in copper that year. The small date Denver variety was intended to be struck only in the new zinc composition. Which means if you find a 1982 D small date penny made of copper, you're holding something that technically should not exist. That's the kind of mystery collectors dream about. Now let's break down exactly how you identify one, because this is where most people get confused. First, the date style. Large date versus small date. On the large date, the numbers appear thicker and more evenly aligned. The 2, in 1982, has a curved, more dramatic shape at the base. The digits look bold and wide. On the small date, the numbers appear thinner and more delicate. The 2 is slimmer and the base is more straight and refined. The 8, in small date, looks slightly higher compared to the other numbers. This difference is subtle. Very subtle. You'll need good lighting. possibly magnification. Second, the mint mark. Look directly below the date. You must see a clear D mint mark, indicating it was struck in Denver.NOD. It's not the one we're talking about. Now comes the most important test. Wait. This is where the magic happens. Copper pennies from 1982 weigh approximately 3.11 grams. Zinc pennies weigh about 2.5 grams. That difference of roughly 0.6 grams may not sound like much, but on a digital scale accurate to 2 decimal places. It's unmistakable. If you find a 1982 D small date penny weighing 3.11 grams, you may have found one of the rarest modern Lincoln cents ever discovered, because only a tiny number of verified examples have ever surfaced. One famous example sold for tens of thousands of dollars. In pristine, certified condition, top-grade versions have been speculated to reach astronomical valuations, with some market excitement pushing headlines towards 7 figures depending on rarity, grading, and buyer demand. The key word here is certified. If you believe you have one, you must have it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Without certification, the market won't treat it as legitimate. Now let's talk about common mistakes, because this is where many hopeful treasure hunters go wrong. Mistake number 1: not checking the date style carefully. Many people find a copper 1982 D penny and assume it's valuable. But if it's a large date, it's common. Mistake number 2: using an inaccurate scale. Kitchen scales won't cut it. You need a precise digital gram scale that measures to 0.01 grams. Mistake number 3: confusing corrosion or damage for mint errors. Scratches, dents, discoloration. These usually reduce value, not increase it. Mistake number 4: assuming every online headline equals guaranteed millions. Coin values depend heavily on condition, grading, and market timing. A circulated rare coin may be worth thousands, while a flawless mint state version can command dramatically more. Collectors grade coins from poor all the way to mint state 70. The higher the grade, the sharper the details, the stronger the luster, and the fewer the marks. A true uncirculated 1982 D small date copper penny in top condition is the dream scenario. But even a circulated authenticated example can still represent a life-changing discovery. And here's the thrilling part. These coins were released into circulation. They weren't locked away in vaults. They were spent at grocery stores, gas stations, candy shops, which means some could still be hiding in old jars, forgotten drawers, inherited collections. Imagine the story. A penny tossed into a coin jar in 1982. Ignored for decades. Then one day, someone weighs it 0.3.11 grams. Their heart skips. They examine the date, small date. They see the D mint mark, and suddenly, that ordinary penny becomes the most extraordinary object in the room. This is why collectors search relentlessly. This is why dealers scan rolls of pennies. This is why coin shows buzz whenever a new discovery surfaces. Because the 1982 transition year created chaos, and chaos creates opportunity. Let's talk about preservation. If you think you found one, do not clean it. Cleaning destroys value. Even rubbing it with a cloth can create microscopic hairlines that lower the grade. Place it carefully in a non-PVC holder. Avoid moisture. Avoid touching the surfaces with bare fingers. Hold it by the edges. Then consult a reputable coin dealer or submit directly to a professional grading service. The idea that something so small, so ordinary, so overlooked, could carry extraordinary value. It reminds us that treasure isn't always buried on islands or locked in safes. Sometimes, it jingles quietly in your pocket, somewhere in America. There could still be an undiscovered 1982 D small date copper penny waiting to be recognized. Maybe it passed through your hands already. Maybe it's sitting in a jar right now. So tonight, before you ignore that pile of change, take a closer look. Because history has proven that one tiny variation can change everything. The next unbelievable coin story might not belong to a collector on the news. If you love uncovering hidden treasures, mysterious mint errors, and the coins that shock the collecting world, make sure you stay tuned for more deep dives into America's most fascinating pocket change secrets. We're diving deep into the mysterious world of the 1979 D mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin most Americans have seen thousands of times, but almost no one has truly examined closely. Billions were minted at the Denver facility. Billions. Which makes this story even more unbelievable. Because hidden among those ordinary copper-colored cents are a few extraordinary survivors that collectors have paid massive money for, in rare cases, up to $1.6 million in extreme, certified error condition. This is not just pocket change. This is hidden history. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for. First, let's understand the coin itself. The 1979 D Lincoln cent was struck at the Denver Mint, meaning it carries a small D mint mark just below the date on the obverse, under Abraham Lincoln's portrait. The obverse design was created by Victor David Brenner, whose initials VDB can be found on the reverse at the base of the Lincoln Memorial. This design belongs to the Lincoln Memorial series, which ran from 1959 through 2008 before being replaced by the special 2009 bicentennial designs and later the Union Shield reverse. In 1979. Over 4 billion Lincoln cents were produced in Denver alone. That's not rare. That's extremely common. The answer lies in errors, condition, and microscopic details that most people overlook. Let's start with condition, because this is where many collectors misunderstand value. An ordinary circulated 1979 D penny is worth exactly 1 cent. Maybe 2 or 3 cents if someone needs it for a collection. But a 1979 D penny in pristine, untouched mint state condition, graded MS67 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Think about it. In 1979, these coins were immediately thrown into circulation. Vending machines, gas stations, grocery stores. Very few people stored rolls of 1979 D cents carefully, and even fewer remained flawless for decades. There are several rare error varieties known in the 1979 D Lincoln cent, and these are the coins that can command shocking prices. This happens during the die creation process at the mint. If the die receives multiple impressions slightly misaligned, the design can appear doubled. On a 1979 D penny, look carefully at, if you see clear, strong doubling, not just machine doubling or flat shadowing, you may have something special. Real doubled die errors show separation lines and distinct secondary images. Machine doubling, on the other hand, looks flat and shelf-like. Many people mistake machine doubling for valuable doubling. That's one of the biggest errors beginners make. Next, check for off-center strikes. Sometimes, during the minting process, a blank planchet is not perfectly aligned under the die. This creates a coin where part of the design is missing and the rim is incomplete. A dramatic off-center strike, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible, can sell for hundreds or even thousands depending on the percentage off-center. Now let's talk about something even more fascinating: the wrong planchet error. Occasionally, a Lincoln cent is accidentally struck on a planchet meant for a different denomination. Imagine a 1979 D penny struck on a dime planchet or foreign coin blank. These coins will weigh differently. A standard 1979 D cent should weigh about 3.11 grams, since it's composed mostly of copper with a small percentage of zinc. If your coin weighs significantly less or more, that is a massive red flag, and possibly a jackpot signal. Always use a precise digital scale that measures to at least 0.01 grams. Serious collectors rely on weight to confirm authenticity. Another valuable variety to search for is repunched mint marks, often abbreviated as RPM. Before 1990, mint marks were punched by hand into the working dies. That means sometimes the mint mark was punched twice at slightly different angles. Under magnification, you might see a small shadow or secondary D underneath or beside the primary mint mark. Strong RPM varieties are extremely collectible. Now here's where the story becomes truly dramatic. There have been cases where high-grade 1979 D Lincoln cents with rare die varieties or extreme error combinations have sold for enormous premiums at auction. While an average example won't make you a millionaire, the right coin in flawless condition, with the right documented error, authenticated and slabbed, can bring life-changing money. But here's the critical part. Most people never look. They assume a penny is just a penny. They dump them into jars. They roll them up and take them to the bank. They ignore them entirely. So, how do you properly inspect your 1979D pennies? Step 1. Lighting. Use bright, direct LED lighting. Natural daylight works too. Shadows help reveal doubling and surface anomalies. Step 2. Magnification. A 10x to 20x loop is ideal. Too much magnification actually makes it harder to see overall patterns. Step 3. Weight. Use a digital scale accurate to 0.01 grams. Step 4. Compare. Look at known images of verified errors. Study them carefully. Train your eye. Now let's discuss common mistakes to avoid. Do not clean your coins. Cleaning destroys surface originality and can reduce value dramatically. Even light wiping leaves hairline scratches that grading companies will detect instantly. Many viral posts exaggerate values. Always check completed auction sales from reputable auction houses. Do not assume every doubled appearance is rare. Machine doubling is extremely common and usually worthless. And finally, do not sell raw or rare coins without authentication. Professional grading from companies like PCGS or NGC provides credibility, protection, and significantly higher resale potential. Now imagine this scenario. You're going through an old jar of coins. Maybe it belonged to a relative. Maybe it's been sitting untouched for 30 years. You pull out a 1979D penny. It looks bright. Hardly anywhere. The surfaces shine. You look closer. The letters and Liberty shows slight separation. The D mint mark appears doubled. Your heart starts racing. You weigh it. 3.11 grams. You compare it to verified examples. The details match. You send it in for grading. Weeks later, you receive a slabbed coin labeled 1979D doubled die obverse MS67 auction estimate. Thousands. That's the power of knowledge. That's why collectors obsess over details others ignore. Because sometimes history hides in plain sight. The 1979D Lincoln cent represents more than copper and zinc. It represents opportunity. It represents the thrill of discovery. It represents the possibility that something ordinary can become extraordinary. You never know when the next great find is waiting in your change. So tonight, before you spend that penny, take a closer look, check the mint mark, inspect the date, examine the motto. Only a tiny fraction carry the secrets that collectors are desperately searching for. If you found this deep dive helpful and you want more hidden coin secrets, rare varieties, and treasure hunting strategies, make sure you subscribe and stay tuned. We're diving deep into the mysterious and exciting world of the 1979 no mint mark Lincoln penny. On the surface, it looks completely ordinary. Billions were produced. Millions still circulate. Most are worth just 1 cent. But hidden among those everyday coins are rare varieties and high-grade examples that have stunned collectors and commanded 4- and even 5-figure prices at auction. And rumors of million-dollar values continue to fuel the treasure hunt. In 1979, the United States Mint produced Lincoln cents at multiple facilities. Coins struck in Philadelphia typically carried no mint mark at all. Coins from Denver featured a small D. San Francisco coins, especially proofs, carried an S. So when we say 1979 no mint mark, we're talking about coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint, officially known as the United States Mint facility in Philadelphia. That means most 1979 pennies you find without a mint mark are completely normal. They were made in huge numbers, over 6 billion of them. So how can something so common become valuable? Most pennies enter circulation immediately after being minted. They get scratched, dinged, worn down, and discolored. After decades of use, many 1979 pennies look tired and dull. But occasionally, a coin survives in pristine condition, never circulated, never mishandled, still blazing with its original red copper luster. Collectors use a grading scale from 1 to 70. The higher the number, the better the condition. A coin graded MS65 is considered gem quality. MS67 is superb. But when you reach MS68 or higher, you're talking about extreme rarity, especially for a coin that was mass-produced for everyday use. Some 1979 no mint mark pennies graded at the very top of the scale have sold for thousands of dollars. Why? because it's incredibly difficult for such a common coin to survive in nearly flawless condition for over 4 decades. Mint errors occur when something goes wrong during the striking process. These mistakes aren't supposed to happen, and that's exactly why collectors love them. Point 1 error to look for is a double die. This happens when the coin's design is impressed twice at slightly different angles, creating a visible doubling effect. On a 1979 penny, you might notice doubling on the date, the word liberty, or the motto "In God We Trust." True double die errors can be extremely valuable, depending on their strength and rarity. Another error is an off-center strike. If the coin wasn't properly aligned during minting, part of the design may be missing, leaving a blank crescent shape on one side. Dramatic off-center strikes with clear dates are highly collectible. Then there are clipped planchets, coins that were cut improperly before striking, leaving a curved or straight missing section. These odd shapes immediately stand out and often sell for strong premiums. You might also hear about broad strikes, die cracks, or even coins struck on the wrong metal planchet. Each of these errors tells a story of a moment when the minting process didn't go as planned. Not every unusual mark is a valuable error. Damage from circulation, scratches, dents, corrosion, or heat exposure is extremely common. Many people mistake post-mint damage for rare mint errors. The difference is subtle but crucial. Genuine mint errors occur during production, not after the coin leaves the mint. That's why serious collectors often rely on professional grading services. Companies like PCGS and NGC authenticate and grade coins, sealing them in protective holders. If you believe you've found something extraordinary, professional evaluation is the safest path. The 1979 Lincoln cent is made primarily of copper, 95% copper and 5% zinc. This was before the major composition change in 1982, when the mint switched to copper-plated zinc. That means your 1979 penny has real copper value as well, though its melt value is still only a few cents and melting pennies is illegal in the United States. The obverse of the coin features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, originally designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse displays the Lincoln Memorial, the design introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Look closely at the details. Sharp lines in Lincoln's hair. Strong separation in the steps of the memorial building. Full, crisp lettering. These details help determine grade, and grade determines value. Is a 1979 no-mint mark penny worth $1.1 million? There is no widely documented public sale of a standard 1979 Philadelphia cent reaching that level. However, in the world of rare coins, extraordinary discoveries do happen. Unique error coins, experimental strikes, or previously unknown varieties can bring astonishing sums when the right buyer appears. The coin market thrives on rarity, demand, and story. Even if your coin isn't worth $1 million, could it be worth hundreds? Thousands? Absolutely, if it meets the right criteria. First, examine the date carefully under magnification. Look for doubling in the numbers 1, 9, 7, and 9. Second, inspect the word liberty and the motto "In God We Trust" for signs of clear, separated doubling, not just blurry edges. Third, check the edge and surface for unusual shapes or striking abnormalities that appear original to the minting process. Fourth, evaluate condition. Is the coin bright red? Does it have minimal contact marks? Does it look almost brand new despite being decades old? And finally, avoid cleaning the coin. Cleaning can permanently damage the surface and drastically reduce value. Even gentle wiping can create microscopic scratches that graders detect immediately. You're counting loose change after a long day. Among the quarters and nickels, a copper glint catches your eye. A 1979 penny. No mint mark. You almost toss it aside, but something looks different. The lettering seems doubled. The shine is unusually strong. Your heart starts to race. You take it to a local coin shop. The dealer studies it carefully. He pulls out a loop. He goes silent. That silence feels like an eternity. The beauty of coin collecting is that treasure can still hide in plain sight. Unlike gold buried in remote mountains, these treasures circulate in everyday life. They pass through vending machines, grocery stores, and parking meters. Most people never look twice. The 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln penny may not guarantee instant wealth, but it represents something powerful: possibility. The possibility that history, rarity, and chance can intersect in your favor. So tonight, before you ignore that jar of pennies on your dresser, take a closer look. Use a magnifying glass. Study the details. Compare your coin with verified images from trusted sources. Learn the difference between damage and genuine error. We're diving deep into the fascinating story of the 2002 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin most people would never look at twice. Billions were made. They passed through vending machines, grocery stores, gas stations, and probably your own hands. And yet, a rare few have shocked collectors with surprising values, especially when they feature dramatic mint errors or exceptional condition. Could a 2002 penny really be worth big money? What should you look for? And how do you avoid the mistakes that cost beginners thousands? The 2002 Lincoln cent is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series that began in 1909 honoring President Abraham Lincoln. By 2002, these coins featured Lincoln's portrait on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back, a design introduced in 1959. If your 2002 penny has an no-mint mark, that does not mean it's an error. For this series, pennies struck at the Philadelphia Mint traditionally carry no mint mark. That's normal. It's not rare by itself. Millions upon millions of 2002 pennies were made without a mint mark. Most 2002 pennies you'll find are heavily circulated. They've been dropped, scratched, stacked, bent, and worn down over 2 decades. But if you find one in pristine, uncirculated condition, what collectors call mint state, that's where things get interesting. Professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC use a 70-point grading scale. A coin graded MS65 or higher is considered high quality. An MS67 or MS68 penny from 2002 can command significantly higher prices than face value, simply because so few survive in flawless condition, because modern pennies were never treated as valuable. They were spent, not saved. A 2002 no-mint mark penny with a dramatic mint error can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the severity and rarity of the mistake. Here are the specific identifying features you need to look for. Look closely at the words, Liberty, and In God We Trust. If you see clear doubling, not machine doubling, but strong, separated lettering, that could indicate a doubled die variety. True doubled dies show distinct separation and thickness in the letters. They are created during the die manufacturing process, not from post-mint damage. If the design is noticeably shifted and part of the coin is blank, that's an off-center strike. The more dramatic the shift, especially if the date is still visible, the more valuable it can be. If the coin appears wider than normal and has no defined rim, it may have been struck without a retaining collar. These are collectible errors. Examine the surface for raised lines or blobs of metal. A cud is a large, raised area caused by a broken die. These can bring strong collector interest. This is rare but powerful. If a 2002 penny was accidentally struck on a different metal blank, for example, a dime planchet, the coin would be smaller and lighter than normal. These can be worth significant money. Now let's talk about something critical. Many people confuse damage with mint errors. Scratches, dents, discoloration, and corrosion are not valuable errors. They reduce value. If the metal is pushed inward or gouged, that usually happened after the coin left the mint. True mint errors occur during production and typically show raised, not indented, anomalies. Cleaning removes original surfaces and can destroy collector value instantly. Even gentle polishing can drop a coin's grade dramatically. Now let's address the big number that gets attention. You may see claims online that a 2002 no-mint mark penny is worth $1.20 million. As of documented public auction records, no standard 2002 Lincoln cent has sold anywhere near that figure. However, extremely rare coins in the Lincoln series, especially historic key dates or dramatic errors, have sold for hundreds of thousands and even over $1 million in other years. Modern coins can surprise the market when they're discovered in pristine condition. They reveal previously unknown die varieties. They show dramatic, certified mint errors. Or they receive ultra-high grades like MS69 or MS70. While extremely high-grade modern pennies are rare, they do exist, especially if pulled from original bank rolls. Use a magnifying glass or coin loop. At least 5x to 10x magnification. Inspect the date and lettering carefully for doubling. Check the rim for uniform shape. Look for spreading or missing edges. Weigh the coin. A standard 2002 penny weighs 2.5 grams. Significant deviation could signal a wrong planchet error. Compare your coin with verified examples on major auction sites. If you truly believe you've found something unusual, consider submitting it to a professional grading service. Authentication is everything in this hobby. Now let's talk about the psychology behind coins like this. Because treasure hunting is addictive. Unlike stocks or real estate, coin collecting allows everyday people to participate in discovery. You don't need millions to start. You just need curiosity and attention to detail. Every jar of change becomes a mystery box. Every roll from the bank becomes a potential adventure. The 2002 no-mint mark Lincoln penny represents possibility. It reminds us that value isn't always obvious. Don't believe every viral headline. The difference between hype and reality is knowledge. If you have a 2002 no-mint mark penny sitting nearby, take it out right now. Examine it carefully. Look at Lincoln's profile. Check the fields for luster. Rotate it under light. Or maybe it's the start of your journey into one of the most fascinating hobbies in America. We're diving deep into the mysterious and fascinating world of the 2007 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Billions were produced. Most are worth exactly 1 cent. But a rare few carry secrets that have sent collectors into a frenzy and push values into life-changing territory. A 2007 penny without a mint mark is not automatically rare. In fact, when it comes to modern Lincoln cents, a missing mint mark usually just means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Since 1980, pennies from Philadelphia typically carry a P mint mark, but Lincoln cents are the exception. They often don't show one. So a 2007 penny with no mint mark simply means it was struck in Philadelphia. Because when something goes wrong during the minting process, that's when ordinary metal turns into extraordinary treasure. The 2007 Lincoln cent belongs to the long-running Lincoln Memorial Design series that began in 1959, replacing the earlier wheat reverse. The obverse still features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse, you'll see the Lincoln Memorial, with tiny details that most people never examine closely, and it's those microscopic details that separate a 1-cent coin from a $1,000 coin. Let's talk about the types of errors that have made 2007 pennies extremely valuable. A doubled die occurs during the die creation process. When the design is impressed onto the die more than once at slightly different angles, it creates visible doubling on the coin's lettering or design elements. On some 2007 Lincoln cents, collectors have reported noticeable doubling on the date, on the word Liberty, or on I in God We Trust. True doubled dies show clear, distinct separation in the letters, not just a blurry appearance. Many people mistake machine doubling for a true doubled die. Machine doubling happens during the strike itself and often looks flat and shelf-like. It does not add significant value. A true doubled die can bring hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on condition and visibility. An off-center strike happens when the blank planchet is not properly aligned inside the collar during the strike. The result? A coin where part of the design is missing, and the blank metal is visible. The value of an off-center strike depends on how dramatic it is. A slight off-center may only bring a small premium. But a dramatic off-center strike, especially one that still shows the full date, can sell for hundreds or more. A broad-struck coin occurs when the collar that normally holds the coin in place during striking fails. The result is a coin that appears wider and slightly thinner than normal, with distorted edges. These errors are collectible and can command strong prices if well preserved. A die crack looks like a raised line across the surface of the coin. It forms when the die begins to fracture under pressure. Over time, that crack can expand into what's called a cud, a blob of raised metal typically near the rim where part of the die has broken away. Large, dramatic cud errors are especially popular among collectors. Now let's talk about something that really excites collectors: Wrong planchet errors. A wrong planchet error occurs when a coin is struck on a blank meant for a different denomination. Imagine a 2007 Lincoln cent struck on a dime planchet. It would be smaller, lighter, and missing part of the design because the blank is too small. Or imagine it struck on a foreign planchet. These are rare, extremely rare, and they can sell for thousands. There have even been cases of modern pennies struck on experimental or transitional planchets. Those are the coins that reach jaw-dropping auction prices. A standard 2007 no-mint mark Lincoln cent in circulated condition is worth 1 cent. Even in uncirculated condition, most are worth only a small premium, maybe a few dollars if graded at the highest mint state levels. However, the coin market is driven by rarity, condition, and demand. If a truly unique error were discovered, something previously unknown, dramatic, authenticated by a major grading service like PCGS or NGC, the sky becomes the limit. Auction records have proven time and time again that collectors will pay astonishing amounts for the right coin. That's why authentication is everything. If you believe you've found a rare 2007 era penny, never clean it. Cleaning destroys value. Keep it exactly as you found it. Place it in a protective holder. Then consult a reputable coin dealer or submit it to a professional grading service. Coin grading uses a scale from 1 to 70. A perfect mint state coin receives an MS-70 grade. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin can be. A 2007 penny graded MS-68 or higher can bring significantly more than one in MS-63. Even modern coins come with tiny marks from the minting and handling process. Finding one with flawless surfaces under magnification is not easy. Now here's something many people overlook. Look at your coin under magnification. Use a loupe, at least 10x magnification. Check the date carefully. Examine the lettering. Look for unusual thickness, shadows, separation lines. Study the Lincoln Memorial. Check the columns. Look inside the center. Yes, you can actually see a tiny Lincoln statue inside the memorial if the strike is sharp. Most error hunters search through thousands of coins before finding something special. Coin roll hunting has become incredibly popular. People visit banks, request rolls of pennies, search through them, and return the common ones. It takes time. It takes dedication. But every once in a while, someone finds something extraordinary. No mint mark does not mean the mint mark is missing by mistake. For 2007 Lincoln cents, Philadelphia coins simply do not carry a mint mark. So if someone tells you your penny is rare just because there's no mint mark, be cautious. The rarity comes from errors, condition, or extraordinary circumstances, not the absence of a letter. You're sorting through change late at night. The light hits your penny at just the right angle. You notice something odd about the date. It looks slightly doubled. You grab a magnifier. The doubling is clear and strong. Not flat. Not shelf-like. You compare it with known examples online. It matches. You send it for grading. Weeks later you receive the results. Authentic doubled die. High mint state. Now imagine the auction listing. Collectors bidding. The number climbing. That's the dream. But dreams are built on knowledge. So here's how you protect yourself from common mistakes. Do not trust random online listings claiming every 2007 penny is worth thousands. Do not assume damage equals error. Post-mint damage, scratches, dents, corrosion, does not increase value. Learn the difference between damage and mint error. Study reputable resources. Connect with experienced collectors. And most importantly, stay patient. It's about the thrill of knowing that something overlooked by millions might be extraordinary. The 2007 Lincoln penny may not be old. It may not be silver. It may not shine differently at first glance. But within the world of numismatics, even modern coins can carry incredible stories.